So the fact is, I've been doing audio production, making beats, rapping for close to 25 years. It's only been 10 years since I have ventured into mixing and content creation. And these challenges that I overcame are actually just overcoming them every single day. It's not something I look back in the past and look where I am now and say, look what I've overcome. It's waking up every single day, recognizing what's trying to keep me back and making a conscious decision to continue pressing forward every day. And in that day, I overcame the challenges that were pressing on me yesterday. It's a continual moving forward. So this here is my testimony and my why for the past 10 years, bringing me up to where I'm at today. And ideally what I want to focus on is the content creation part, because it defines so much of who I am now and what I do as a music producer and a mixing engineer. So I graduated audio school and got a job pretty much right after as a salesman in a huge electronics store in New York. Worked there for about 3 years, and in 2015, I came across a podcast with a Christian rapper and an entrepreneur. His name was Dale Partridge. He had a company at the time called Startup Camp, and I absolutely fell in love with his brand and everything, but I really didn't know anything about blogging, vlogging. I was just trying to pursue the music industry, specifically at that time as a rapper, and I just fell in love with the idea of blogging. So that was on my mind. I was starting to get into it while I was working. Every bit of free time that I had, I would try to pursue understanding blogging. I remember even writing my first blog, which I thought was a masterpiece novel, but it was pretty terrible. So I love blogging so much that in 2016, I quit my job and pursued vlogging, blogging. I was a signed artist at the time. I had a lot of dreams and goals, and it was all brand new to me, different from what I was used to pursuing music in the industry. And it gave me hope that I had a little bit of control over this dream of mine, this calling, this purpose, and I just pursued it with all that I had. And I had $10,000 in my bank account, and at the time, I thought that was a lot. And I forgot that you actually have to pay for things such as bills and all of these amenities and things that we own and services that I have to pay for to utilize toward my dreams and ambitions. So it ended up depleting really fast. So I remained unemployed, struggling, trying to figure it all out for about 3 years. Come up to about 2018, I realized that I need to move my life forward and get married. I was dating my wife then at the time, and I said, it's time that we actually get serious about this and get married. So I knew that that was the next big thing that I was going to accomplish in my life, but I was currently unemployed, really struggling to try to not only build this business, but figure out how to do it and what I was doing. I felt like I didn't have an identity whatsoever. I was trying to vlog and create content, teach people how to do certain things. And at the time, I was still kind of green in my understanding of, even though I went to audio school, you'd imagine that I would have come out of school knowing a lot more than I did. And I was still very confused and realized that all the knowledge that I was going to obtain really was going to come from experience. And I was still gaining that experience. So I struggled hard with imposter syndrome and feeling like I can't show up to the table and present content to help somebody, not thinking that there's somebody that's a little bit lower than me in knowledge and I could help them. But instead, I always looked at those people that were at the top of the industry, seeing what they were making and saying that unless I'm like that and I have that degree of knowledge, I'm worthless. And I'll be honest with you, I still deal with that today. There's a high likelihood that my camera could really drop in this water. That won't be good for nobody. So I don't know. They say everything for the shot, but I'm just gonna have to take a shot like this and still hold my tripod. So I proposed, we got engaged, and a couple months later, I got my old job back. And that was the biggest piece of humble pie that I ever had to take in my entire life, because when I left the first time, everybody knew that it was like, this guy, if there's anybody in this world that's gonna go out and become successful and fulfill his dreams, it was gonna be me, because everybody knew that I had that ambition. But little did they know how much I was going to struggle to try to understand how to make sense of this entrepreneurial business building lifestyle. I mean, honestly, I could pitch a bed, a tent right here and just fall asleep to this. This is what I want happening in my backyard. That's why I moved away from the city, y'all. Honestly, a little bit hotter today than it's been. It's beautiful outside. So when I went back to the job, I knew that it wasn't gonna be for the long term. I was gonna be in and out. I just needed to do the responsible thing. My wife was going to school at the time, so I needed to provide that income. And then when she graduated and got a good job, you know, we talked about it. Now, I love the idea of the traditional role of being a provider. We talked about it and said for us to play the long game and look toward the future, and say, hey, I want a lifestyle where we can homeschool our kids. You can be a stay-at-home mom or work part-time, and then I will have my business, which will be the main provision for the house. That's what we were looking at. We were looking at the big picture. So she was working. I quit the job again and spent the next 2 years doing the same thing, but not so much content creation for like YouTube and stuff like that. It was more so focusing on production. So before I was trying to be more of an educator because I was following a lot of these entrepreneurs who were making courses and things like that. And because I struggled so hard with imposter syndrome, that never actually happened in that period of my life. But when I quit the job again, I was focusing more so on making beats. I was signed and am still signed to Menace Movement, the record label, Christian hip hop record label. I was making beats for them. So again, didn't have much direction, just trying to figure it all out. But one thing that we really wanted to do, my wife and I, was to move to a place where we were surrounded by nature, mountains, rivers, wild animals, and the backdrop here is proof of God's goodness that actually happened and came true in our lives. So she got a job. We moved up here to New Hampshire, and it's been an incredible experience. It really was at first, for the first 5 months, and she lost her job. So now here we are with a decent savings account, but from the first experience, me knowing how quickly that money can dwindle, and also now we got twins, and they were at the time we moved 3 months old. So when she lost her job, they were 8 months. What are we gonna do now? So of course, everything that I'm trying to pursue had to go into overdrive, but I finally felt like maybe the Lord's opening a door, because we always kind of longed for, both of us agreed, in her staying home with the kids and me being able to provide the income and work and everything like that and build my business. And now we finally have the free time and the capacity to do that. I just wasn't making any money yet, but I was stepping out in faith, trusting in God, and doing everything that I needed to do to show up and work hard. So back up to about 2020, I created a lifestyle, day in the life producer type of vlog. It was what it was, minimal views, but I didn't give it enough time. It was about 2 months in, and then I decided to switch things up. I did an episode with my wife, and it was biblically inspired marriage testimony. It went like crazy viral in literally a couple weeks. I gained a ton of subscribers, and it was a wild ride. And now I thought, hey, maybe this is where the Lord is leading me. Let's do a family vlog. We did that for a while, especially when we first moved up here, and that stopped for a couple reasons. And once again, I'm left with retreating back to the main thing, which never has worked on its own, which is me just sitting in my studio behind the scenes, making beats, being a beat salesman, trying to find a way to make it in the industry. So basically my biggest problem, I was just throwing darts at a dartboard in the dark and not knowing what was gonna stick and hoping something did stick, but I was never showing up for the long game. I was not showing up for the amount of time that it was gonna require me to potentially see if this thing is gonna work out or not. And it even got worse because now I got a family to provide for. So I'm trying things out every 2 weeks, examining, is this gonna work or not? It's gonna be a waste of time. And then recently I just had, it's like the switch clicked in my mind. Somehow, some way, I was able to come to understanding that I have to give this adequate time to grow. So I started a vlog again. So now, once again, I'm confused. I don't have clarity. I have no idea what I'm gonna do. I already made 2 episodes. How am I gonna make this all make sense? My family's livelihood is on the line. We are trusting in God for his great provision. But I still have to figure out how I'm gonna do what I gotta do and show up. Well, I finally found a way to do it. I finally have a way where I could merge my life, the things that I like to vlog about, the things that mean most to me in this world, and production and mixing. I think I have a really cool way to do this consistently, which gives me great hope, because now I can press forward and overcome all of those hurdles and obstacles and setbacks and struggles that I've been going through for the past 10 years. Because I've been trying to figure out how to keep the 10,000 subscribers that I currently have happy with the content that I'm producing, especially since I said I'm coming back vlogging again. But then how do I grow this channel if I'm not gonna be doing a family lifestyle vlog? And I think that I've been able to merge these two worlds together in a way that makes sense, and in a way that's entertaining, and in a way that kind of allows me to have like a vlogging style way of teaching. So if you're interested in me, you'll stick around. If you're interested in seeing, the random kind kind of stuff around me and not just me in the studio, then you'll probably stick around, because my wife might make an appearance or two every now and again. But if you're interested also in audio engineering and production and my journey in that, but also tips and techniques and strategies to help you, and if you're new to this channel and you're watching this, then you're definitely going to want to stick around, because I'm not holding back. I am going to be releasing some fire content. Sorry, I just walked up a pretty big hill. Now that the summer's rolling back around, it's time to get back in shape. But what I want you guys to do is leave some comments. Let's create a community here. Leave some comments and let me know if you've aspired to do anything in your life. If it's been music, building a business, anything entrepreneur, anything regarding faith, leave a comment. Let me know what's been your struggle. Let me know a little bit of your journey and your testimony. And real quick, if you liked this video, then please hit that like button. And if you're new to the channel, it's the first time you're ever seeing this face talking about these things, then consider hitting that subscribe button. I'd greatly appreciate it. And until the next video, may God bless you.